Good evening. Today we're going to be moving at light speed. We're going to be doing a tune in the style of MPH. And that is the kind of quip that I consider quality broadcasting. Let's get into it. Lovely, let's have a listen from the top. Alright, lovely. So we're in 132 beats per minute. The key is D sharp minor, but we're not really taking too much notice of the key in this. The main notes throughout are the E and the D sharp. We're hanging on the D sharp for most of it, so I assume it's D sharp. So we're just starting off with a little vocal that I found on Splice, and we have to start off these little clocks. One hard pan left, one hard pan right. And then we have the stabs at the beginning, so this little phone bleep that I found, and then these chords. And then on top of that we've got this little hit as well. So those three together. So they're introducing the harmonic content at the start. And then to keep the energy up as well, I've got some toms. So it's all a little bit orchestral, everything's hitting at the same time in this intro. Just bring in this hi-hat. Super trashy, and I've shortened it so the tail isn't so long. And then going into this build, we've got little tom fill to ease us in. And then we start introducing some more of our drums. So we have these little perks that come in. And the main thing that comes in is the snare build. I spent a while looking for the right sample for this, and this, I think, is a little snippet from an almond break. It has such a nice characteristic. So that's something I'll be doing a lot more in the future, is taking little snippets from an almond break. And something that's so important in this song, and I'll cover it a little bit more, is the swing. So this is our snare pattern, and then we've got these two that are super swung. So they would normally be here, but we've just pushed these two back quite a lot. Gives it that real sort of lazy feel. And then these little perks peppered in, these are all swung as well. So that helps to give that groove to this first bit, so it doesn't just feel like really robotic. And then introducing some weird little sound effects here and there. We've got this weird little upriser thing, which just helps us to transition into this little bit where there's going to be almost no instruments. So we just have the vocal in this section. And to make it a little bit more interesting, from these two lines, I've slightly changed the processing on the vocals. So the second time round, we've just got this hyperdimension from Serum Effects. It puts it in a weird space, so it just has a slightly different tone to this one. So for this first one, we've got this reverb on, which is a really nice like slapback thing that I've started doing recently, where you have the size and the decay all the way down, and then you have the pre-delay up quite high. So it's effectively acting as a delay, but it sounds like it's in a massive room because you get those reflections back. And without. Makes you feel like you're sort of at a festival or something. So it's a really nice way of creating space. And then we've got this little chop that I've just repeated there. And we've used utility to change the panning. So it just flicks from left and right just before we go into the drop. And then we just have 4 stabs on the 4 beats before the drop. And we've got this little record scratch. And again, I've made sure to make that a little bit swung as well, so they're not all totally on grid. So this drop is actually relatively simple, very simple sound design, but it's just all of the most important things I think are done right. So starting off with the drums, we've just got a kick. To make that a little bit more snappy, I put a transient shaper on there, just up the attack a little bit. And then with our drums, we have a clap. It's a sample that I found and it's super wide, so it really gets out of the way of the mid part of the stereo frequency, which really helps because it gives a lot of space for everything else. And then we've got a few hi-hats. So I've stacked them a little bit to make them sound a little bit more trashy. It helps to fill out the frequency spectrum a little bit as well. I don't always layer drums, but in this instance, I felt like it really needed it. And then we have this shaker, which is just a one-shot shaker. I've swung it a lot as well, so if it was on grid, it would be here. And we put them right back. So it really gives it a lot of swing. And then to help with the swing even more, we've added these little perks. So again, they're super swung and I've matched it to the swing of the shaker. So this is where the swing on our shaker hits. So we've done a similar thing for our perk and the same with the rest of them as well. So that really, really helps to give it that groove so it doesn't feel so sort of static. And for the bass, very simple. I saw on Chris Lake's stream that MPH said that he uses a square wave for his subs, so I thought I'd do the same thing. So it's literally just a square wave with a filter on there, about 800, bit of resonance, quite a lot of drive, and that is literally it. So again, what's super important is the groove. So we've got the groove on notator A swing, and I've also done manual groove in there as well. So these are pulled back a little bit. This one's pulled back. This one's pulled back. So super important that you have that swing on the basses as well. And then in between the little pauses of the bass, I'm filling it with some other bass one-shots. Like this little garagey thing, which is just a patch that I found, a couple of sine waves, and then I'm hitting it on the limiter, bit of OTT, bit of widener. And the thing that's really cool about this is it's going through a noise as well. So without that noise, it's a little bit soft. With that noise, it becomes super crunchy. So that really helps bring that out a lot. So you notice those donks only come in where that bass isn't playing, so they're never overlapping each other. And we're doing a similar thing, just slightly different sound, keep it a little bit more interesting. And then just to break it up a little bit, we've got this Reese coming in at the end of the phrase. So this is just 2 of these S Reeses. You could pretty much use anything for it. You could use these anti-stasis. You can use like a couple of sine waves and bend them. As long as they sort of look like wobbly sine waves like this, that's always going to work for this kind of sound. So you have those 2, one fine-tuned up a little bit, one fine-tuned down. And then we've got some distortion, a little bit of filtering, chorus and stuff on there. So we're just using that to break up these 2 sections. So this one helps lead us into the second half of that drop. So for our lead, we are playing the E and then going down to the D. Again, super swung. We've got that notator on there and then some very similar manual swings as well. Super simple patch, a square wave and a sine wave. One is 1 octave up, one's 2 octaves up. We've got a PWM on there, which just slightly changes the wave. That's going through a little bit of white noise, a little bit of a filter, distortion and reverb, and that is it. We've got our pitch bend set at 2 and -2. So that's the thing that really gives it that wobbly kind of sound, is the pitch bend. So this is the arch that we're going on the pitch. So we're not even going down a full semitone here, because that would be literally halfway in between these. We've gone a little bit further down. So it creates that really weird atonal sort of vibe, which really works for this. So our bass notes are going from the D sharp to the E and then back down to the D. So it's got its own melody playing. And then on top of that, we have our lead doing something slightly different. So they're not playing the exact same thing. They're playing similar rhythms, but the bass is filling in some little gaps where the lead isn't playing. So they're not both exactly the same in terms of rhythm. And certainly with the pitch, I don't really know what they're doing. I just sort of messed about with it until it sounded good. Difficult to get that sort of atonal vibe really working, because you've got two melodic pieces, one being the bass, one being the lead. And to get them fitting right, where one is sort of pitch bending in between notes, is quite difficult, but it just takes time to really hone that. And then in this little section where we have the Reese come in, I've just made a slightly different channel. So that I've changed the wavetable for this one, and then we've added this shaper box on liquid, so it gives it that weird flangey sound to it. And slightly change the pitch bend from this one. So this is our main lead, and then in the little turnover phrases, we've got a little bit of a change, so it's not exactly the same. And then for this second half, we just add this really piercing one. So those two together, you barely hear it, but it just adds this weird little sort of squeak on top. So this is the exact same patch, but it's a triangle wave this time just by itself. And I've taken it up a couple of octaves. So it just helps to elevate that main lead in the second half just a little bit more and gives it a bit more of an interesting sort of sound. So as well as adding these little donks in between the basses, to keep the momentum of the drop going, I'm adding little bits here and there. So at the end of phrases normally, I'm adding like little bits of vocal drop like we have here. Little tom fill. And then at the end of this phrase here, we've got like a little endless smile type thing going on. So we just have this reverse synth going into this section. So again, as we go through, there's just all these tiny little changes that go on. It just helps to keep the listener engaged. So you've always got something new appearing. And there we have it. Very simple. Actually, when you have a look at it, it's just taking the time, especially with the swing, because a song like this without the swing just sounds so flat. So it's about getting the swing right on all of the drums, and the bass and the leads all sort of working in harmony. It makes it so much better. So that's the thing that I would have spent most time. Once I got all of the elements down, I'd have spent more time than you think on the grooves and making sure everything feels really groovy and also works all together. So I definitely recommend giving that a go. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope it's helped, and love to your mothers.